We all know the story of Kalief Browder, who was in prison on Rikers Island for 3 years, much of that time spent in solitary confinement. His brother continues to stand up for Kalief with the Kalief Browder Foundation. He's also an advisor to Cynthia Nixon's campaign with regards to criminal justice. So we're pleased now to be joined by the head of the Kalief Browder Foundation, Akeem Browder. He was in studio with us, I think, a few months ago. Brother Akeem, good morning to you, man. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. I missed the debate last night. Did criminal justice come up much in debate between Nixon and Cuomo on last night?
Uh, Unfortunately, it didn't. There was a few issues that didn't come up that should have been talked about, but that definitely wasn't one of them.
Why do you think it was ignored?
It's one of the major issue in New York, and yet why it didn't come up, I got to say, I think they kept it really simple for Cuomo. I know Cynthia Nixon was absolutely ready for it. However, they didn't actually bring up anything about education. They kept it. They always focus on the most basic stuff, which was MTA, which that's like the biggest topic, but it's the biggest topic for, I guess, people who don't really have come from our community.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know everybody's rise MTA. There's so many problems. I guess it's so overwhelming. You can't really prioritize one over the other because New York is a mess.
It is.
I mean, to be honest with you, because I see a lot of folk on the MTA thinking about their loved ones locked up too. So who knows? It's unfortunate. Yeah, it's unfortunate that it didn't come up. Give us a status report, if you will, on some of the issues, the criminal justice reform issues that you've been working on, and where they stand right now.
Well, as we all know, it's a wealth-based detention, and when we say wealth-based detention, it is exactly what it is. We're holding people in jail for the fact that they don't have enough in their accounts to have their freedom. That right there in and of itself is just a crime, and it should be a human rights violation. Period. However, there's over 25,000 people detained in local jails across New York State on any given day, and nearly 70% of them are being detained pre-trial, meaning they're not guilty, or they're waiting for their time in court. So this it's a problem, but bail is not the only answer. There's the fact that there's not enough representation, or not proper representation, because you still don't have the money to not just bail yourself out, but to have proper representation, where you would have an attorney that doesn't want you to just take a plea just because they have too much on their caseload. And it's just the way that the courts do it, just because they have that excuse that they can always go to, that we're just overwhelmed. So someone could sit in jail for 3 years, like Kalief, and more, because that's not even the longest someone sat on Rikers Island. Unfortunately, Kalief's story, my brother, he sat on Rikers 3 years, and when we're talking about Kalief, we can think of many cases that was even longer. But when we hear of Kalief, it's a child that we were talking about, and they tortured him. So there's things that happened to him that you hear from one case, and then other things that you hear from another case, like whether they held him in solitary confinement, and other people, well, I was in solitary confinement, or I have a loved one in solitary confinement now. And so why does Kalief stand out more? Well, they also watched him attempt suicide over 8 times. And I mean, as we shown in on a series that we did with Jay-Z as the executive producer, they watched him and encouraged it, and then set it up to it brought him to that point where he wanted to commit suicide. Excuse me. There's the fact that they just ignored him and then starved him. So there's several things in this case that going back and forth to court 38 different times, where a judge could see his same kid back and forth, no evidence, no victim, not even the actual book bag, and that's the whole thing. It was over a book bag.
So the issue of bail reform, I just want to be clear, and people being held and people not being able to afford the bail and the predatory bail bond industry. How long, or what are the other steps that need to occur for us to finally make some things happen with that, Akeem?
Well, New York can fix this crisis if lawmakers take action in the legislative session like they were supposed to, and they were given the opportunity just this past session. And we have another opportunity next year, but we're doing. I'd say the people of New York has been real receptive and understanding to the thought that the bail bond industry really shouldn't exist, because we have people like Harvey Weinstein who could pay his $1 million bail and be free. And then now he's no longer considered a threat to society, which that's not true. Just because he has $1 million to pay for that didn't actually take away his threat to society. But we're understanding now, and with an extreme example like that, like Harvey Weinstein, where a person like Kalief can sit in jail for 3 years just for not having $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take away the severity of the crime, the alleged crime. And so that shows that the money aspect should not be in it. And we've gotten across, while we've been going up to Albany to make this point clear, we've had families go up with us. We've had students. We've had religious organizations go up with us. We've had the most important thing really is the people in overwhelming numbers going up and attesting to this, and we sit in front of their legislative representative, their elected official in their community. So I think the people have been doing it. It fell solely on the legislative body to pass it, and we hear excuses about the Republicans, and they didn't want it, and they didn't want to do it, and they're trying to stop it. But we have a governor that literally can do what he wants, and he's shown, meaning he's passed a bill through executive order to allow people on parole supervision or supervision period to be able to vote. And that's cleverly done because he states that he wanted everyone to have the chance to vote, and it's not right to not have them voting. Well, it's not right to also leave them in jail for years at a time, or when you're innocent until proven guilty.
Mm-hmm.
However, you've done that, and under your watch. And so you could have easily passed executive order to actually get criminal justice reform done this year. However, we heard excuses, although there was a promise made from our governor to make sure it was going to get done, and he promised that in the name of Kalief at the state address in front of me and to me in front of the state of New York.
Akeem Browder with us, folks, and obviously that's not happened yet. What about this? Tell the audience too, if you would, Akeem. And I'm on the website now, folks, and you can read some of this for yourselves. Kalief Browder Foundation.com. If you would, Akeem, talk to us about the blindfold law.
Yes. See, this is like I said, there isn't just one way that we can fix, because realistically, the blindfold law, let's just say, put it in very basic terms. When you have an attorney that goes to court with you, representing you and it's in the pre-trial phase. Pre-trial is anything from adjudication, where a person is officially given charges of what he or she is being accused of, and by going to so this is in the realm of discovery. Discovery is the information that's held against you to say that we can go further in court. But if an attorney doesn't have the proper evidence, or the evidence period, because usually what happens is you don't get the evidence until you're ready for trial. Mm-hmm. Your jury is sworn in, and the first thing that happens after the jury is sworn in, 99% of the time, is the prosecutor will then drop on the table and a huge stack of papers, 500 pages, and says, "Your Honor, for the record, we are now entering this evidence against the defendant." And this stack of evidence is damning because, one, it's just being known for the first time.
Yeah, you haven't had a chance to review it.
Exactly. And usually you only get 3 hours at most, because they have the proceeding. Everyone said they're ready for a trial, and now here it is. You want more time to review the evidence, and yet an attorney could possibly go for that evidence early, but by putting in request to review information against you. However, it's the fact that the court isn't allowing, or the prosecutor isn't allowing for evidence to be seen or heard of until after, which is then a tool that the prosecutor uses to let it be known that, hey, we have 16 witnesses and you have no time to actually review and go over. So the attorney is going to look at you and say, did you know that you have XYZ and that they have XYZ in their defense? And you're like, you didn't know anything about it. So they're scared. They're caught off guard. And now you have an option. Listen, let's just try and get a plea in now, because I don't have a defense for this. Mm-hmm. You're blinded.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have no way to do it. And so that's still on the books too.
We're still fighting for discovery. Discovery is the biggest thing, because if you knew your evidence, if we knew Kalief didn't have an actual person testifying against him, if we knew that Kalief didn't have, or the defense didn't have, or the prosecutor's office didn't have a book bag, they didn't have a witness, they didn't have anything, we would be able to say, Your Honor, they have nothing against our client, my brother, my family member, my loved one. Let him go. I mean, they've done this numerous times to everyone. They use it, and they say that they said that they had a video against myself when I was in college. They accused me. And if it weren't for the attorney that I had, which was a paid attorney, which was Paul Prestia, the same attorney that represented Kalief in his lawsuit, that attorney, Paul Prestia, actually found that the video was not actually of me in it. They did have a video, mm-hmm. but the person was 8 times darker than me.
Wow.
And so they just said they had a video of me, but they didn't show the video, and they were planning probably to show it at the end of during trial, which then they wouldn't be able to show the video because they knew it wasn't me, but they just said it. So that evidence could scare a person like, wow, I'm actually in a video doing something that I didn't think I even did. That evidence is damning, and we need discovery now.
Speedy trial, discovery, bail reform, 3 of the issues. And again, you're advising the gubernatorial candidate, Cynthia Nixon, on criminal justice reform too, aren't you?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's important to understand that we as a people need someone we can trust in office. Someone, one that has a track record that we don't have Cynthia Nixon in office as a elected official, but we do have 8 years of information on our current governor, and we've seen what that 8 years can come out to. We have gentrification in our neighborhoods. We don't have properly funded schools in our neighborhoods. And imagine the reason why they didn't. I can imagine why they didn't bring up schools is because it's a gateway to then talk about the school to prison pipeline. Having not enough finances in schools to fund even having books in your classroom could be an issue for the governor currently. That why couldn't you do this? We have families across New York State, not just New York City. This is just not a New York City issue. It's a state issue. It's a worldwide, a country, a national issue. But we're here in New York, and you as a governor have the authority and the ability to set budget. Talking about budget was a small topic that they did yesterday, but they were talking about it in reference to the MTA.
Right.
But imagine, like I said, it's a gateway conversation from school to prison.
Right. Akeem Browder with us, folks, the brother of Kalief Browder. You actually appear on a video endorsing Cynthia Nixon. I want our audience to hear this, folks. Take a listen if you would.
Hello, my name is Akeem Browder. For nearly 3 years, I've been fighting to make sure every New Yorker knows my brother's story so that it is never repeated. His name was Kalief Browder. Kalief was a product of the school-to-prison pipeline that swallows innocent and blameless youth for insignificant allegations like stealing a backpack, robbing 3 years from what could have been a graduation or a time to build relationships or to even develop himself into the great man he could have been today. Time that no one can easily recover from when that time is on Rikers Island and in solitary confinement.
Today, thousands of New Yorkers are languishing in jail awaiting trial because of a cash bail system that punishes people for being too poor and too black. Tonight, those people will be sleeping in cages, and Harvey Weinstein, who can afford his $1 million bail, will be sleeping in his own bed. That's not justice.
Governor Cuomo looked me in the eye and told me that he would pass policies to ensure what happened to our family never happen again. But he failed to deliver, leaving this an empty promise. I'm endorsing Cynthia Nixon because we need a governor who will actually fight to dismantle our system of mass incarceration and build a system based on freedom and justice for all. That means ending cash bail, enacting discovery reform, and passing Kalief's law to ensure the right to a speedy trial.
Join us in fighting for a New York that works for all of us, not just for the wealthy few. Thank you.
Cynthia Nixon and Akeem Browder. Akeem, we're out of time. Those of you on the radio, tune our stream, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Make It Plain, and Instagram, Minister with 2 T's. I'm going to finish my conversation with Akeem. We'll be right back on the radio. But before we go, we want to encourage people to support the Kalief Browder Foundation. Go to KaliefBrowderFoundation.com. Brother Akeem, the second time you've been on the show, but we won't make this the last time, and I hope we can develop a relationship where, one, I personally can be more supportive of your work, and number two, give you an opportunity to use this forum as often as you need to support the work you're doing, okay?
That's love, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
All right, man, and let's keep in touch offline too, man. So like I said, because I really want to get more involved in what you're doing, all right?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, my brother. Take care now. Kalief,
Peace.
Browder Foundation.com, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to go there. It's really a tragic story. The story of his brother committing suicide after coming home and after him being incarcerated on Rikers for so many years, and there was never any evidence brought against him. You know, that's the thing that is truly tragic about all of this. Michael Blake is going to join us momentarily, so stay with us for a little while, folks. Well, actually, yeah, that's what we do. We'll talk to Mike. 9 a.m. MSNBC, right? Later today in Detroit for the Aretha Franklin tribute concert, as a matter of fact. Let's tweet out Michael. There was something else I needed to do. You know, people, it's funny how people, and we're talking to Brent, Ohio. One of the things that was, you know, Brent was saying, he was a white Democrat saying we don't need to be too, basically, I'm paraphrasing and summarizing, we don't need to be too enraged about what DeSatan said. And, you know, I just don't get that. You know, people don't want us to call our racism for what it is, because it makes, if you feel uncomfortable by me or any other person calling out racism, you may need to go look in the mirror. Maybe that's what somebody like Brent needs to do. I mean, you won't want me, well, you just need to be cool. No, I need to be cool. Because a couple people looked at me funny when I said that this Satan needs to drop out. Why not? Why is that so far-fetched or unrealistic? Why? Why can't that be? Why can't that happen? I don't understand. 866-99 series. I mean, it was, you know, Roseanne said it, gone. Why are people making excuses for DeSatan in Florida? And again, that's not necessary for Andrew to do, because Andrew's got to stay focused on the issues of the people in Florida. But he hadn't been quiet about it. He has said he knows what it is, and he's operating out of the Trump playbook. All safe and quiet. That's like people saying, you know, some people say this to me on talk. Well, you just need to let Kavanaugh go. Ain't nothing, cause nothing do anything about it. Shut up. Need to have some backbone. And see, that's one of the problems with the Democratic Party, our party, that we don't show enough backbone sometimes. Remember when Obama was office, some of you all complained about him not showing passion. I know you're emotional. That's what that condescending Brent was saying to me. I know you're emotional and you're angry. Now, I wasn't emotional and angry about Satan anymore. I'm emotional and angry about you, Brent, calling up here trying to get me to agree with you that we shouldn't be saying anything about Satan. John, Lou, Harlow, Bill, and Kevin. We'll get to all of you. Bill, before I even pick up for you, you know, I don't know why it's not a both and. Another caller called and said, well, you shouldn't drop out. We can use the run again. It should be both. As if him dropping out is a disadvantage to us. No, leave him in and we'll do better. Really? The devil needs to drop out. 866-997-4748. 9 a.m. MSNBC, folks. Join us there. Yes. All right, come back in a couple of minutes, folks. Don McGahn is out of the White House. He learned about it via a tweet. Believe it or not. Hiring is challenging, but there's one place you can go where hiring is simple, fast, and smart. A place where growing businesses connect to qualified candidates. That place is ZipRecruiter.com/MIP. ZipRecruiter sends your job to over 100 of the web's leading job boards. But they don't stop there with their powerful matching technology. ZipRecruiter scans thousands of resumes to find people with the right experience and invite them to apply to your job. As applications come in, ZipRecruiter analyzes each one and spotlights the top candidates so you never miss a great match. ZipRecruiter is so effective that 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in the very first day. With results like that, it's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the highest rated hiring site in America. And right now, listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/MIP. That's ZipRecruiter.com/MIP. ZipRecruiter.com/MIP. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Okay, let's go quickly. Michael Blake's going to join us momentarily, but let's get a couple of calls in if we can. John's in North Carolina as well. Another call from North Carolina who doesn't believe DeSantis or DeSatan made a racist comment. Good morning, John. God bless you. Good morning. Get woke, get vote, and get ready for impeachment.
Hey, how are you doing this morning? Thanks for taking my call. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll tell you the reason I don't think that he meant anything by it is the way he said it. He said the last thing that we need to do is monkey this up. He didn't say the last thing he needs to do is monkey this up. I really think that it's throwing completely out of context on what he said.
But you're forgetting the context is that his opponent is an African American. And on the television,
Correct.
when he was saying it, it was a picture, a shot of DeSatan right next to a shot of Andrew Gillum. But you can't say monkey. There is no appropriate context to use monkey in and around an African American. There's just no. So you talking about one context. That's not the context you're speaking of. Is really ignoring the overall context. His opponent in the governor's race, his opponent vying to go into the governor's mansion, is an African American. Period.
And I can see where it can be thrown, where one side can take it as racism, as well as the other side.
That's all it is. It's only there can be no other way to take it. You all are in denial about it because you don't
into it too much.
I'm sorry.
You're just reading into it. You're just reading into it too much. Because I'm a Republican. I voted for Donald Trump.
Of course you
did.
Well,
me a racist because wait a minute. I'm the devil. I'm Satan. If I voted for Donald Trump,
I didn't say that.
That's nonsense. No. That's nonsense. You told the other fellow that when he called in. You called him a fool. You called him ignorant.
Yeah, because he doesn't believe racism exists, and he supports what
it does exist on both sides.
No, it doesn't exist on. It only exists on one side. The only people that are racist are white people. It's why it's called white supremacy. Racism is white supremacy. You aware of that, right?
Okay, but here's the thing. No. I don't agree with that at all. I think black people are more racist. I think black people are more racist than white people.
I think you're an ignorant fool. You're just an ignorant, stupid white man. That's all you are.
Black entertainment. You got Martin Luther King on every street in every city that's around. You got United Negro Funds. You got all black colleges. What do we got? Yet y'all still saying
so wait a minute. There are no white networks. Okay, so you're saying there are no white networks. Always been white.
Let
me say something.
Don't have no all white.
Hey, KKK, don't cut me off. I'm talking. I'll let you finish. Shut up. Shut up.
Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
You, white people, have controlled networks, the ballot box, everything in this country, and locked us out. We have HBCUs because of segregation, because we weren't allowed to go to white colleges. So I'm sorry, your whole argument is just truly ignorant, and you, based upon what you just said, are a racist white man, John. You might not want to admit it.
I have plenty of black friends.
No, you don't.
I have plenty of black friends.
Do your black friends talk with you?
Yes, I do.
They're not your friends.
We
then.
Do.
If your so-called black friends don't call out your racism, they're not your friends. They're not your real friends. They're just too uncomfortable to talk about it in front of you.
The black guy that is a Republican.
866-99 Series. Bill's in Ohio. Bill, God bless you. Good morning. Get woke and vote. Get ready for impeachment. Go right ahead, Bill.
First of all, let me say God bless you.
Thank you.
And second of all, let me say that you hit the nail on the head when you identified Satan as at the root of all this craziness and stupidity. Third, I agree with you, although I didn't at first, but I do agree with you that there should at least be public demonstrations to demand that DeSantis withdraw because of his racist statement. And it's very, very sad to me that people are so narrow-minded and so deluded into believing that this guy who appeared on Fox News over 200 times during the campaign and was still in third place until he got an endorsement from Trump, that there is a propaganda network going on here. And so if this had been going on during the time of Nixon, I think Watergate would have not ever been investigated the way it has, the way it was. And so anyway, we have a lot of educating to do. We have a lot of demonstrating to do. But I think what the one guy was saying, and I disagree with the point that he was making, that black people don't have every reason to be outraged when people do make these kinds of statements, and they're still
white people should be outraged too.
I agree. I am outraged.
Yeah.
I'm outraged as well. But I think the point that the one guy was making was that it's going to be more effective in educating teachable white people about racism if the people doing the teaching, whether they're white or black, will be as unoffendable as possible, even though it is highly offensive. It's like Jesus said.
Wait, give me an example of being
slaps
unoffendable.
you in the cheek.
How is it being
Well,
offendable?
you have been incredibly unoffendable in some ways, even though you're speaking to these people who are extremely ignorant and very impolite to you. Okay? You do a great job on a daily basis dealing with ignorance.
Well, thank you. Well, thank
But
you.
the thing is, like I say, I think when you're calling for DeSantis to be stepping down, I think what it's going to take literally people all over the state of Florida who disagree with Donald Trump and disagree with DeSantis, who, by the way, being a graduate of Harvard and Yale, he doesn't do anything without total calculation behind what he's doing. In a way, it's kind of amazing that he's gone to Harvard and Yale, because his mindset is so twisted and his commercial is so laughable and pathetic, and yet it reached a fair number of voters, and they voted for him.
Well, there's the worst kind of fool is an educated one, and that happens.
Well, you're right.
Bill, I got to run, though. Good to talk to you,
Okay.
man. Enjoy your day.
Yeah.
All
Thank
right,
you, too.
take care now. Joining us now, the vice chair of the Democratic Party, also New York Assemblyman in the 79th District, Michael Blake. Michael, good morning to you, buddy. How are you?
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
I'm good, man. So I see even your latest tweets, takes on DeSantis, who I yesterday morning yesterday morning when I announced on the air overnight that Andrew had won, I referred to DeSantis as DeSatan because I knew who he was. And then he justified my renaming him DeSatan with that monkey this up comment. First of all, somebody tried to tell me that that's a common phrase they've heard. Have you ever heard anybody say monkey this up before?
Racist people, yes, pretty much. And
no, I mean the literal phrase.
I don't know
monkey
anyone that would
this up.
be actually thinking about that phrase of monkey this up. No, that's clearly not someone just casually using that kind of phrase.
Yeah. I think he needs to withdraw from the race. I think the same standards we use when it comes to other issues, this is as offensive as any other type of a thing, and I think he ought to withdraw. That's just me.
Well, not only is it offensive, it is offensive how they're trying to walk back and convey, well, absolutely, there was nothing offensive at all about what was said. When you think about the magnitude of the moment in which August 28th being the 55th anniversary of I Have a Dream speech, the 10-year anniversary of when Barack Obama became the Democratic nominee for president, and now you have Andrew Gillum becoming, of course, the nominee for governor in Florida. For someone to try to even convey in any aspect that using the phrase monkey this up is not racist is utterly disrespectful and absurd in every possible manner. And let's be clear, this is intentional. And anytime we try to play otherwise, that we're lying to ourselves. DeSantis is recognizing and following in the Trump playbook of let's do everything possible to mobilize the base, a base that is scared, uncomfortable, terrified by the changing demography of the country and of Florida, and doing everything to convey, you know what, we feel it is better to use this absurd language than to do the right things. And this is, to me, no different than what we saw in Virginia years ago by the macaca comment.
Right.
Just,
right.
Very clear intentionality
That's right.
that was going through the mind of feeling this is how I feel comfortable to describe this person.
You know what? And it's a good point. Macaca finished, what's his name? Who was the guy?
It was George Allen.
And you remember, I don't know, I still don't know who did this. It was done very stealthily. But if you remember, on Election Day, Michael, someone put a sea of signs all over the state with one word on it, macaca.
Yeah.
And it finished him.
Just to continue to remind people.
Charlottesville helped Ralph Northam win.
Absolutely.
Monkey this up is going to help Andrew Gillum win.
And when you already are in the moment where, and people kept saying how this was a historic upset. For anyone that was around me knows that I've been saying for weeks that I thought Andrew was going to win because I consistently saw that the polling was substantially undercounting black turnout.
Mm-hmm.
Black turnout in Florida is usually around 30%, and I just, look, my mama lives down there, my sister and brother-in-law live down there. I've campaigned in Florida a lot. It just didn't look right than what we were seeing. So you're already in this environment where they're saying how historic and surprised and shocking this is. You're already in an environment where they're questioning his talent. You're already in an environment where the President of the United States is tweeting already the subtle, not so subtle racist garbage of violence in the streets of Tallahassee.
Right.
And then you amplify this or monkey this up. Again, there's no confusion in what's happening. And what is going to happen is you are going to mobilize the base and fair-minded independents on the other side of Democrats and leaning Dems who are watching this and saying, we're sick of this. We're tired of this in any aspect, and we're not going to tolerate this. And I think it's not only going to lead to a Gillum win, but I think you're going to see a pretty historic turnout up and down the ballot for folks that are aligned with Andrew on Election Day.
Were you surprised, Mike, that Andrew won?
No.
Right.
Not one bit. But when you look at the numbers and you look at some of these counties, especially in the counties that had larger black turnout, there's about 18 of them that had pretty sizable black turnout. Andrew won 16 of them, and he won them by 15 points. And the reality, when you can't ignore the excitement of someone in Andrew. I've known Andrew for years. Andrew, obviously mayor of Tallahassee, he was president of the Young Elected Officials Network. We've known his work, and so of course there's going to be excitement. Anyone that goes to FAMU and is a rattler and has been around the community, they understand Andrew could have left the community. He wanted to stay on the ground in that aspect. So no, not in any way am I surprised by that. And in the same way, I'm not surprised with what's been happening. You look at these other races. I don't understand why we continue to use the word of shock and surprise when someone black wins a prominent office. You're the same language around Ben Jealous in Maryland. You're the same language around Stacey in Georgia. It's almost as if people are surprised that people of color are doing well. No, not at all. This is our base. Our base is showing up. Our base is ready. Our base is going to be mobilized. And it's another reason why we at the DNC and others are excited about what's going to happen in November.
866-99-SIRIUS, 866-997-4748. Yeah, what's going to happen in November? We could potentially have 3 black governors, Mike. I mean, that would be historic.
3 black governors, multiple Native American women, multiple Latinas, a Latino governor as well in Arizona. Of course, 2 Muslim congressional women. Historic. Yeah. And when we think about the moment and where we're mobilizing towards, it is not just that people are voting for these people and these candidates because of their skin color and their background. They're exceptional candidates. Right? It is not the first time that someone black or Latino or Muslim or a woman has run. No, at all. This is just saying, these are remarkable candidates that are winning in these fields. It's not the first time that there was a black person that ran for a higher office and was the only black person in that field. When you look at Florida and what Gillum did in South Florida, where, and this is respect to all candidates in the field, but he utterly dominated in South Florida as a mayor from Tallahassee, right? So, there was a mobilization and excitement that was happening there, and you can't ignore the opportunities. There are multiple seats. We continue to remind people We need 23 net pickups for Congress. There are 25 seats that Hillary Clinton beat Donald Trump in across this country. You look at multiple seats down in Florida congressionally, anywhere between 2 to 4 that we feel very confident about have a good chance of flipping. It's not just about the governor's seat. It's the congressional seats. It's the state legislative seats. It's the city council races. It's the U.S. Senate races. You can't tell me that this won't have impact in helping Senator Nelson with his Florida Senate seat.
Right.
There's a collective opportunity that will happen when you have more people of color, and not just people of color as running, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
It is also the organizations. When you think about the collective and 76 Words and New Leaders Council, Solidarity Strategies, all these different organizations, Latino Victory Fund, all these different organizations that have been mobilized, and of course, Higher Heights. That's the exciting part of November, that there is an awakening that is happening of when you empower and invest people of color, great things happen for the country.
You mentioned Bell Nelson, too. Yeah, people are enthusiastic in Florida. Andrew will help get people out to vote for Bell Nelson. But aren't the Mike Blake with us folks, the DNC vice chair, also New York State Assemblyman, Michael, aren't the demographics also changing in Florida itself to the extent that there are probably fewer people in Florida that are going to be attracted or pulled in by a statement like DeSantis has made?
I think it's going to mobilize a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
You look at what we've done. DNC made a substantial $100,000 investment into Florida, specifically for Puerto Rican sisters and brothers that have come into the state, in particular in Central Florida, to get them registered and mobilized and engaged in the community. In that aspect, I highly doubt, given the utter disrespect they've received from the Trump administration, that they're going to be excited to hear about this nonsensical language from DeSantis. When you think about the college students across the state, when you think about anyone who has any appreciation of history and any appreciation of respect, I don't think any of them are going to be excited and mobilized. And so, again, it is laughable for anyone to try to convey that DeSantis saying monkey this up is anything but intentional racism to not just be a dog whistle, I mean, a full-on bullhorn,
right.
Blast the horn, everybody,
right.
Let's get on the same page, because they believe that in a midterm election, if their base shows up, that our base won't.
Yeah, well,
and that's all this is, and it is a clear articulation of what they believe, and the broader concern yet opportunity mark, which I always say, when the crisis happens, it turns into opportunity. You have a Republican Party that the individual nominees that are taking on these endorsements from President Trump are going to go so far right and so far off the ledge that they're making a decision that it's more important for them to be endorsed by Trump than to do what's best for communities on the ground.
Yeah.
I
don't think they really want to govern, Michael.
No.
I think they want to curry his favor. They want to be the teacher's pet. They want to leave the door open for them to get shows on Fox News. That's why he said it on Fox News. I mean, it's almost a consolation. Well, even if Andrew beats me, I said monkey this up on Fox, and maybe they'll offer me a job. I really believe that.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty clear that they have no real regard for a vision of what they want to accomplish. This is let's do everything possible to win, and hey, we'll win, great, and let's keep it moving from there.
Yeah.
You look at what's happening across the country. It is impossible to also ignore that the continual attack, and Angela Rye conveyed this perfectly yesterday, attack on black men in every possible aspect.
That's right.
By Trump and Republicans, by questioning the intelligence and the respect. Obviously, it's been continual against President Obama, but from Andrew Gillum to Don Lemon to LeBron James to all these young brothers that have been shot and killed, this continual attack that it is clearly intentional, And if you have recognized it and seen that it's happening and you're still doing it, then you truly don't care. But, you know, what we often tell people, and Dr. King said this best, in the end, we will not be remembered by the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. It is irresponsible for us to be silent when you see this kind of nonsense happening. And so that's why we continue to remind people, go to iwillvote.com. If you're upset, if you're angry, if you're pissed off, you're frustrated, you know, don't just talk about the tweets. Go knock on the door. Don't just talk about the tweets. Go make a phone call. Don't just watch what you saw on TV. Go mobilize your friends to go vote and be engaged in the process right now.
Yeah. Add Mr. Mike Blake on Twitter. Real quick, Mike, before we go, I guess I'd be remiss. There was a gubernatorial debate last night, and forgive me for not knowing. Are you involved in any of these, either of these gubernatorial campaigns? Have you endorsed?
I have not jumped in on the governor's race. You know, we've been very engaged in the attorney general race.
Sure.
James.
You with Letitia?
Very much so. I mean, and again, to Mark, to me, it's very similar. This absurd implied argument that has been made that someone who is a former ADA, former public defender, the current public advocate, who's had more legislation than any public advocate combined, is not qualified to be attorney general is absurd to me in that aspect. And so, you know, we've been very engaged in that. And I appreciate you bringing this up, because for anyone from New York, please know that primary day is on a Thursday. It is Thursday, September 13th. It is not on a Tuesday in about 2 weeks, for people to be aware of that race.
Why is that? Why is that?
Two main reasons. One, Tuesday would have been it is 9/11, and we of course wanted to be respectful. And then secondly, it was a Jewish holiday. So in both aspects, we wanted to be respectful in that aspect. But even before that, you have a primary race happening in Massachusetts next Tuesday. But in New York, September 13th is primary day for people to be aware of and engaged in that race.
Indeed. Listen, Mike, let's talk offline, because I want to get Letitia on the show.
Certainly.
I'm gonna reach out to you, and let's see if we can work that out. Okay.
Certainly.
All right, my brother. Good to talk to you, Michael Blake.
Always good to hear your voice. Thank you.
Likewise, man. Good to hear yours as well. Take care and enjoy your day. 866-99-SIRIUS. Let's get a couple of other quick calls in. We appreciate everyone's patience. Ladies first. Regina's in California. Regina, God bless you. Good morning. Get woke and vote. Get ready for impeachment. Real quick for me, Regina.
Good morning. I just don't understand how you call out discrimination and are also unoffendable. This is
right.
I'm not. I just want to tell white liberal people it's not comfortable to come out of your comfort zone.
Right.
It's not.
Right. And those who feel uncomfortable, maybe they aren't as liberal as they pretend to be or think they are. If I'm not talking about you, you shouldn't even be responding to it. We're talking about the Satan, not anybody else. So if that makes you feel uncomfortable, maybe you kind of like that. You know?
When discrimination hits home, it is emotional.
Yeah.
But
right.
you can still have a logical response to an emotional issue.
Yeah. Thank you, Regina. Good to hear your voice. God bless you this morning. Listen, everybody, I got to get out of here. Everybody, Amir, first. Julie's going to go first. Ladies first. Julie, Kevin, Tom, Harlow, Amir. Everybody get ready. Give me one sentence. Hit it and quit it. Big, strong statement so I can get out of here, go to this break. Big, strong sentence now from everybody. So everybody on hold. You hear what I'm saying? Don't even bother to pick that up, Andrew. So let's go real quick. Quick, strong sentence. Make your point. Julie's in Colorado. Julie, God bless you. Good morning. Get woke and vote. Get ready for impeachment. Real quick.
Hi, Mark. Ignorance is no excuse. You know, if what I said is offensive to somebody and they try to tell me that, it's like just playing ignorant because I wasn't aware of the impact my words had on somebody is no excuse anymore.
Thank you,
have
Julie.
To call it out.
Thank you, Julie. Enjoy your day. Kevin's in Maryland. Kevin, one sentence. God bless you. Good morning. Get woke and vote. Get ready for impeachment. Go.
Hey, good morning, Kid. Good morning, Mark. This is my last one thing I'm gonna say is that he made an ad with his son about racism when he had his son build a wall.
Build a wall. The Satan did. You mean that little building with the blocks? Yeah.
So people need to understand this is where he's coming from.
Yeah,
That's
right.
my piece, Mark.
Yeah, thank you. Enjoy your day. All right, appreciate you. Take care now. All right, Harlow's in Idaho. Harlow, God bless you. Get woke and vote. Get ready for impeachment. Good morning. One sentence.
Slavery started with the dehumanization of the African American people in Africa, calling them monkeys.
Yeah, that's right. You're absolutely right. Are you supporting Paulette Jordan? Harlow?
Yeah.
Good. Thank you. You're running for governor in Idaho. Thank you, man. Enjoy your day. Amir's in Detroit. I'll be in Detroit this afternoon, Amir, for the funeral, with a concert and the funeral tomorrow. God bless you. Good morning. Get working. Vote. Get ready for peace. Real quick, I got to go.
Real quick, DeSantos was administrator of a Facebook group called the Tea Party who was demonizing black people, the Parkland kids, and Muslims and Hispanics.
Thank you.
So that lets you know the monkey comment was racist. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Tom, quick one sentence, please. Get woke and vote. Quick.
Hello. Yes. If Gillum were white, DeSantos would have never said monkey. He would have never entered the conversation.
Thank you.
And Garland Gilchrist is running for lieutenant.
That's right, in Michigan. This is MIP. Hey, Cousin Thomas. Good to see you, man.